Hey, I'm live. Okay. It is 3 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon, June the 22nd, and I'm going to share something with you. And I had not intended really on doing this, but a couple of my friends that I spoke with felt like it would be a good idea to share it. Because it was something between me and the Lord during my prayer time the other day, and so it's kind of personal. Um, and anytime you share something personal, you run the risk of people wanting to, um, judge or be critical or think negative. But you know what? That's okay. Um, I'm gonna do it anyway because I love to share things that the Lord shows me because a lot of times we're all struggling with very similar things because the enemy is not very creative. And so he comes at all of us with pretty much the same type of junk. He knows our weaknesses. And I just want to say this before I start. It's not that the enemy can read your mind or my mind, but he can hear our words, observe our behaviors, our reactions. And so that's how he knows that this is a weakness. So it's no, if you've read it anymore, very many of my devotional blogs, it's no secret that I struggle a lot with feeling like I'm should be better, like, you know, self condemnation, maybe. Or even if it's not condemnation, it's a lot of self criticism. And I was talking to my friend Amanda one day last week about how no matter what I'm doing for the Lord, no matter how, it's just like there's this constant feeling that there's a little something that I'm missing, that I'm not going to be enough to get all that God has for me, that I will only go so far, that I can only be so influential, I can only be so powerful, I can only make a small difference because I'm just not all that I could be for the Lord. There's just too many things in my life still that need correction or tweaking or changing or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? And I think the truth is, as long as we are alive, as long as we are in this fleshly body, it's going to be that way. So it's supposed to be that way, maybe, but the enemy wants to take any of your weaknesses or shortcomings and make you feel like that's going to keep God from you somehow, using you to whatever, or you're disappointing him somehow. I admitted that I struggled with that. Well, this is one of my favorite devotional books. It's called My Utmost for His Highest by Oswald Chambers. And this one is the updated version in today's language. The original one is kind of hard to follow. So, on yesterday, the devotional really struck me because I'd been having this feeling going through this season where I feel like, I don't know, like I'm just missing it. I've been spiritually lazy. I'm just kind of blah, 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 blah. And I've just been kind of down on myself about it. Like, you really need to get a hold of yourself and you really need to. Let me just give it for some examples. Um, I think, well, I'm not reading the Bible enough. I can start reading the Bible and I get distracted and I don't put a lot of time into it. And there's sometimes I have free time on my hands when I could be calling people and checking on them, or reading the word, or praying, because I always have people asking me to pray for, but no, I'm watching TV and I'm feeling lazy and I'm feeling blah. And then I start feeling like, how am I ever going to be a mighty woman of God when I'd rather sit here and play solitaire on my computer while I watch a crime show or a cooking show or something? And so anyway, I've started feeling condemning myself. Like, what are you even watching crime shows for? You know you shouldn't watch crime shows. You should watch something wholesome. And it's just like I'm constantly picking myself apart, or I'm, the enemy's bringing these thoughts to my mind, and I just accept them. I just come into agreement with them. So, anyways, I was reading this in my devotional book. I don't want to make this too long, so give me about 5 more minutes at the most. And this is what I highlighted because this really spoke to me. It says, the continual inner searching we do in an effort to see if we are what we ought to be generates a self centered, sickly type of Christianity, not the vigorous and simple life of a child of God. We don't have to be like it's simply a case of our hanging on by the skin of our teeth. Like, okay, I'm going to make it into heaven and I'm serving the Lord, but just barely. Um, it says what we are to do is launch out in a reckless, unrestrained belief that the redemption is complete. Then don't worry anymore about yourself, but begin to do as Jesus Christ has said. Pray for the friend who comes to you at midnight. Pray for the saints of God. Pray for all men, and so forth and so forth. But we don't want to say, Lord, I've done my best now. I hope you are hearing me now. You know, how long is it going to take God to free us from the unhealthy habit of thinking only about ourselves? We must get to the point of being sick to death of ourselves until there's no longer any surprise at anything God might tell us about ourselves. We cannot reach and understand the depths of our own meagerness. There's only one place where we are right with God, and that is in Jesus Christ. That's how we're right with God, not because we've done something wonderful. So when I was reading that, I was like, this is what I do. I have so much inner reflection. I'm so thinking about what I do, what I haven't done, what I should do, what I need to do, what I don't need to do. It's like I don't feel close to God today because I've allowed too many things to come between us, because I've allowed myself to be distracted or whatever. And so I can't stand feeling like that. Like I'm just not enough, and that I just have to keep working at it and working at it. When I know for a fact, and I know in my heart of hearts and in my spirit that I will never be anything outside of Christ Jesus, and I am the righteousness of God only through Christ. All right, so I got I got on my knees yesterday after I wrote a devotional and read that, and wrote a devotional based loosely on that. And I got down on my knees to pray before God. And I was like, I'm sick of feeling like you are just out of reach for me. I'm sick of thinking that I'm not ever going to be fully loved by you. I'm like, I heard a man say, he's a preacher, and he said, sometimes I'm only 90% sure I'm going to make it to heaven because of religion and self. So anyway, I got down to pray, and when I knelt down, the Lord immediately met me with a vision, which he does speak to me in pictures a lot. I'm not talking about the room leaves and I am in a vision. I'm talking about a very vivid mental picture, okay? Almost like you've turned on a TV. And so this is what I saw. I saw Jesus Christ, and he's standing with his arms like this. I can't see him super clearly because there's so much light. He's in so much light, but I can see his arms, I can see his robes, and I can see him uh, coming towards me, and I see a big smile on his face through the light. And he's coming towards me for an embrace. And I'm looking at him, but I cannot get to him because there is a wall between us, about a knee high wall. So I can get to him, but I'm going to have to climb over this wall first. And the wall is made up of bricks. And on the bricks, I see words, and they start with one of them. The first one that came to my mind that I saw was self-reliance. Then I saw self-condemnation, self-pity, self-worth, um, anxiety. So anyway, I'm not going to go through it, because I don't look at them all one by one, but I got the point. What the Lord was showing me is every time I got my eyes on myself and my mind on myself, I couldn't get to Him. That I need to keep my eyes on Him. I need to focus on who He is and what He's done. And in His eyes, I am already made perfect. That's what I tried to write yesterday. Does that mean that I never do anything wrong? No. Perfected, when you perfect something, you are, it takes time. It's in a process, okay? So I'm in process of being perfected, but that will be completed on the day that when I'm with Him in heaven. But it's a process that we're all going through. To so to and other and I have to keep my eyes on Him. If I look inward, it's putting a barrier to where I am not able to freely enjoy the love of my Father and the relationship with Jesus. And this is another thing He said. I always say, I want to enjoy my relationship with you, Lord. And I heard Him say, I want to enjoy my relationship with you, daughter. And we make it hard for the Lord to let us be free to enjoy and for Him to enjoy fellowshipping with us, because we come to Him with all these inadequacies and all this self-reflection and all this junk. He already knows it's there. He already knows. But He still wants us to stop looking at ourselves and look at Him. So you can bring those bricks down. Take those bricks. Drop the bricks. Knock the bricks. And get your heart and your mind off of yourself. Okay? So I hope that helps somebody. Love you. Bye.